I've got something to share with you today that I think you are going to love. They are my top takeaways from our Expand Your Audience, Grow Your Sales event. And I am so excited to be here today. I actually am not sure if I'm on the, the right Instagram, but we're going to just go with it anyway. Quay, can you tell me? I've got Quay behind the scenes, kind of operating things. So I heard something at our live event from one of our students named Jesse. Jesse said, growing my business was like death by 1,000 cuts. Does anyone relate? I wonder, so if you relate to that, give me a heck yes. And the reason why I'm asking is because I think a lot of times we get into business, we start growing our business, and we're building this thing that kind of gets bigger than us. Dawn saying, you're on Instagram. I know that I'm on Instagram. I'm not sure if I'm on my Tracy Matthews page or Flourish and Thrive, but we're just going to find out and go with it. I think a lot of times people like end up building your business, and you end up growing this thing that turns into like a monster. And you think that that's just what, if you have a business, that you have to have that trade-off, right? That it's painful, that you're like basically growing a business and you're kind of like sinking yourself down in this death by 1,000 cuts thing. And it doesn't have to be that way, I'm telling you. But what I will say is that if you aren't consistently working on fixing the problems in your business and the challenges that you have as just an individual running a company, then you will always continue to go back into that mode of feeling like your business is death by 1,000 cuts. I can personally attest to this because this is something that I've been through cycles like this many, many times. And it's a requirement that you're always improving yourself and always improving your business. And so I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer over at Flourish and Thrive Academy. I am super excited today because I'm going to be talking about some of the key takeaways that I took away from the event. I'm actually doing a longer podcast episode about this entire thing that will go live in about 2 weeks that I would encourage you to listen to, because I'll go more in depth into the tactical stuff. But I thought that this was really valuable because I know that a lot of people, regardless of your size, one of the key things that you're always trying to do is to get more people, like your best customers, buying from you, right? Give me a heck yes if that's something that you resonate with or sounds good. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million company or you're trying to make your first sale. You're always trying to get more people to buy from you. And that's just what it is. And so when Jesse told me that he felt like growing his business was like death by 1,000 cuts, I was kind of giggling inside, but I totally resonated with him because I've been there before. And so I wanted to share with you a couple of my key takeaways on how you can quickly expand your audience and grow your sales, and some of the key takeaways from that event. But before I do, just because I like to know who I'm talking to, type in the chat or the comments your name and your business, and if you ended up showing at the event. Also, if you like this video as you're watching it, please share it with your friends. It helps other people experience the awesomeness that we're giving out, I guess, for free all the time. So my takeaway number one, I'm going to walk through 3 today, and then I'll probably come back next week to talk about more, is that you need to grow your audience daily and create a connection with the people that you serve. And when you do that, your sales will increase. There are so many ways to grow your audience and your reach by just paying more attention to what you're actually doing. We shared, I think, 24 to 27 strategies. On the last slide, there was like 24, but I think I combined a few. I dialed in like 24 ways that you could actively be growing your audience every single day. Some of these tactics get fast results. Some of them take a little bit longer, and some of them are more of a long game, but they're all really important to grow your sales. Guess what some of them are? If you want to guess, type in the chat below because I would love to know. And when we brought some of our student speakers on, I'm saying student speakers because they're actually like, they have really successful brands, but we've mentored them over time. And also the brands that are just friends of Flourish and Thrive who we haven't mentored, they all said the same thing, that showing up and being authentic as yourself and creating a connection with people was the key to their success. And this can happen in basically everything that you do. I know that that's sort of like maybe a wide topic to really think about. So I know you want the tactics, so I'm going to give that to you right now. Because short-term tactics, these were some of the favorites that like we're taking away, that are going to get you a fast result. Like let's say you wanted to make a sale, like a couple of sales or a lot of sales in the next week. Pull off a direct mail campaign or lean deep into a direct message or a grassroots messaging campaign with your network. These are two things that are such low-hanging fruit that people don't want to do because they're worried about bugging people. This is going to be faster than email marketing. This is going to be a lot faster than trying to like build your social media audience. The issue is that a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there, so they don't do the work. But if you want sales and you're not getting the kind of sales that you want, do one of those two things or both of them. Develop a direct mail campaign to the people who've already bought from you, or what was the other one? I just forgot. Or do a grassroots direct message campaign where you're just talking to people individually and telling them what you're up to. Super important. We share the entire strategy for both of those things. We shared the entire strategy for both of those things at the event. Now, a medium win might be ongoing email list building. A lot of people lean into this to grow their audience. And in fact, Karina Harris, Alex Camacho, and many of the brands, Katie Seller, they all said that messaging, either text messaging or email marketing to their customers every single week, or more than they were comfortable with, was a thing that actually really spiked their sales in the short term last year. So that was, but beyond this audience building thing. So keep building that email list, because if you get more people on there, it's gonna, over time, is really gonna build. So that needs to be a consistent strategy of yours. And then the next step, which is probably the first thing that people try to do, is to grow your social media audience. I don't care who you are. It used to be really fast. It is not that fast anymore. Growing an Instagram account or a TikTok account or a Facebook page or any of those things, it takes time. And that's why you need to do this every day, show up every day, build that audience, and over time, you're gonna see a huge sales result. Long-term wins or expanding your audience sales might look like optimizing your website for local SEO. This is oftentimes a missed strategy. People think, oh, I can SEO my website, but they're SEOing it for things like handmade jewelry, which is very generic and it's going to be really hard to compete because Etsy really owns that keyword. What about if you were the go-to jeweler in your local area, or jewelry designer or maker? The more you can optimize for your local area, that's like the community where you are. Even if you live in a small town, you can optimize it for the general area, like the tri-state area or something like that. So make sure that you are optimizing SEO on your website for your local area. And another longer game strategy is building this is not something I talk about a lot because I think that it is, I definitely think it's an amazing strategy for growth and you can really make awesome sales with it, but it takes a long time, is building wholesale audience. So building more wholesale accounts. But that takes a long time. And so if you're going for that first, just know you're probably not going to see a sales result in the short term. So you need to be thinking about short-term, mid-term, and long-term strategies to continue growing. Now, if you need sales, let me tell you this, tough love Tracy time. If you need sales and you aren't spending half of your time, or 75% of your time doing revenue generating activities, then stop complaining about not getting sales. That's it. Here's the problem. People come to us all the time and they ask for help and they just want free advice, right? So they come to a Facebook Live like this or Instagram Live. They show up and listen to maybe the podcast. They look at the tips that we're posting on social media, but then they don't do anything with it, or they reach out and ask for help and they just want me to coach me or someone on my team to coach them for free. And that's fine. I do a lot of free stuff all the time to coach you for free. But I just want you to be aware of what you're doing when you're doing that. You're showing the universe that you're not taking yourself seriously. When you don't take yourself seriously and invest in your growth in one way, shape, or form, you are basically just saying that your business isn't important or that these goals aren't important to you. And I did a post last week. It was a reel, actually. I'm not that great at reels, but I'm really trying to do them because I know the power of reels right now. And I did this reel. It went viral. I had over 150 people either comment on the post or reach out to me directly asking for help. And when they were asking for help, and I basically said, okay, so what's your commitment level? How committed are you to this result? And what are you actually doing? And a bunch of them, like the majority of the people, were not serious about their business, because when I shared with them different ways that we could help them, they either ghosted me, they didn't respond, or they said, I can't do that right now, which might be a real situation. I'm not judging anyone for their situation, but If you are willing to go out and buy more supplies and more jewelry, and you're saying that you're not selling enough, or you don't have the sales that you want, and you're buying more materials to make more stuff, that says something, because you're not willing to take that same amount of money to invest in your business education or growth. And that was the biggest mistake that I ever made in business. And the reason why I'm sharing this to you is because I used to be that girl. I had so many opportunities to get support, but what happened was I wasn't taking my business seriously. Even when I was selling like $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, I wasn't taking my business seriously, because instead of getting help, I actually would just invest in more materials, or I thought the solution was doing another trade show or something like that. That's never going to really help you grow. So I used to be that girl, so I'm not judging you. It's just a realization that I've had. Now, and this leads me into the next thing. You need to think like a successful business owner. And that is my second tip. The thing that my biggest takeaway from this is to think like a wildly successful business owner. Here's the reason why. Wildly successful brands, people who have fast results, like Alex Camacho, in 2.5 years, she went from selling $65,000 a year to $330,000 a year, and she's on track to continue growing this year. Or Karina Harris, who already had a successful 6-figure business. When she COVID hit and had 57 of her shows canceled, she barely lost any revenue last year because she replaced it all with online sales. Or people like Twyla, who systematized her business so that when her mom passed away several years ago, she was making more money than she did the year before, because her business was working without her, because they got help and they stood on the shoulders of giants, and they thought like people. They admitted to themselves that they don't know everything. This is cute. Write this down. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. I'm sorry, you don't. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. They are also all humble, hungry, and smart. So they're willing to think like a beginner, even though they've done some things to be really successful already. They're clear on why they are business owners and why they want their goals. This is the most important thing. When you can get really clear about why you want something, like just saying I want to make more sales is a lot of times our energy doesn't resonate with that, right? But when you can say I want to make more sales and increase my profits because I want to send my children to college, or I want to take my family on vacation, or I want a better life for myself, or I want to quit my job, or I want to be able to take a sabbatical for 6 weeks and have money coming in while I'm gone. There are a lot of reasons why people want success. It's not about the money. It's about what the money can give you. Write that down. It's not about the money. It's what the money can provide for you or give you. So this brings me back to Jesse. He had a very successful business. He was selling, he had made all the connections. He was selling to Sundance already when we met him. He had great distributors. He had a very successful brand. His jewelry he was getting coverage, he was getting press, all the things. The problem is that his business was leaking cash and profit margins for a long time. So he said, my business I was running my business like death by 1,000 cuts, because I was bleeding out everywhere. And I didn't realize it until I actually saw how inefficiently I was running my company, and that was bringing me down, and I didn't realize it. So I loved it when he said that, because I wasn't expecting him to say that at the event. But he also realized I was like, oh, Jesse's a Momentum grad. He's like, I don't consider myself a grad because I'm coming back. I'm just taking a break for a minute, because I know the power that coaching and mentorship can have on long-term growth, because he's experienced it for the last 2 years. And so as you grow, like, your business is always going to change, and you're going to hit these roadblocks or milestones or places in your business where you're going to have to rethink the way that you're doing your business. And I say that because I am personally in the midst of this right now. We're going through a lot of changes on the team over here. We're working on efficiencies. My boyfriend Jason's coming in and helping me with the operations, because I can't figure out why certain things aren't running the right way. And it's driving me crazy. And if I keep running this business the right way, or keep running my business like that, without getting outside eyes, because I'm doing all the things that I share with you, but something's off. And so we're working together to figure that out. And if you don't have that sort of feedback and guidance, you end up doing the same thing over and over again. Even as an established business owner, when you don't, especially if you're stuck or you don't know what's going on, right? And then my third takeaway, which is really important, learn from people who have already done what you'd like to do. So we had some amazing editors on this panel. Sabina helped me organize it. Sabina Hitchen of Press for Success. Love that girl. And the coolest part about this was that these PR experts were from places like Vanessa Copus from Bella Magazine, and we had Stephanie Carton from Entreprenista and Socialfly, and we also had Jessica Abo of Entrepreneur Magazine. She's also a media trainer. Come on. And they were sharing all of these mistakes, all of these things that they see people like you and like me do when they're trying to pitch media. And so they're sharing the step-by-step of what they want to see and what they want from you. And that's the crazy thing. So if you're not getting into events like this or joining programs or getting a coach who can actually give you insight into that, you're just basically spinning your wheels and spending a lot of time not getting the growth that you want. So, and throughout the event, we had about 8 to 10 jewelry brands. About eight of them were our students. And then I invited 2 other people to come talk about. They're all really successful in their own right and doing great things. And all of them talked about it. Even the ones who we've never worked with talked about why they came and asked for support, why they wanted help with their business. And the reason was that they went out seeking a mentor or a coach or a community that it could teach them what to accomplish, is because they knew that if they didn't, that something was going to give, or that they were going to be like, Katie kind of explained it this way. She explains it. She's like, I was selling, Katie Seller, she has a really successful brand. I was selling, jewelry that was fine, but it didn't really, there was no connection for me to it. Like I didn't really care about it. But it sold, but it wasn't like, there was no purpose behind it. And so she went through a rebrand, reshifted her entire strategy. And that's when things took off. When she got really aligned. And, we were doing some reviews of like what happened at the event and talking about some of our students. And I remember we had this student who came to us. She was in our program for about a year. Her name's Kalal Naina, and she sells fine jewelry. And I know most people in our community don't sell fine jewelry, but we have, actually that's not true. We have a lot of fine jewelry designers, but run the gamut. I would say hers is more high polished fine jewelry. So that's just the distinction I'm making there. So she's selling fine jewelry. She's based in Hong Kong. She would sell in person fine, but she had a really hard time selling online. She's like, I just don't really think it's possible to sell fine jewelry online. So she did everything that we said, and it did take a little bit longer because she had to build her audience. She didn't quite have that online audience yet. But about 6-8 months in, we taught her this urgency campaign. And she was already like building her email list. Like I remember she posted one day, she's like, oh my gosh, I did this contest and giveaway, and I had 300, I built my email list of 300 more people on there. And some of them have actually already bought my jewelry. So there was like great things that she was doing to continue growing her list. Well, she sold 54 pieces in 10 days. She made $53,000 with that promotion. And she had her first 10K day just by doing the work and showing up. So if you put the work in, you will see a result. And it comes fast. If you're not selling fine jewelry, some of the people that we worked with, Twyla, in the first 3 months of implementing our Desire Brand Effect methodology, she had a 72% increase in online sales. And Kate now is selling 9 to 27 pieces every time she goes live and drops a new collection. So these changes can work for you. The key is that you always have to be putting yourself out there. You have to do the work. You have to grow your audience daily, create a connection with those perfect people. And when you do that, your sales will increase. I promise you. You need to think like a successful person. Get into the mindset of how successful people think. If you don't understand what that means, can participate and be part of our programs and community, because successful people are working on their mindset daily. And then learn from people who have already done what you'd like to do. Trying to figure it out on your own, it might work, but more than likely, you are going to spend a lot of time wasting time and doing things that are going to take a long time. And that's sort of like where I want to kind of stop here, because we would love to help you create whatever it is that you want in your business. If you're ready to invest in yourself and you trust yourself enough, You're ready to bet on yourself and you trust yourself enough that you're actually going to implement and do the work. Now, the best way to do that is actually to get on the phone with someone on my team, because we have a lot of different ways that we can help people, from startup all the way to like multiple six figures or even seven figures in sales. So we help people who are in the startup phase grow their business to like high five figures or six figures in annual sales, or even just have a lifestyle business where they're making some side cash through a program we have called Laying the Foundation. And what we talked about at the event was our program called Momentum, which is really great for established business owners who are ready to grow their business to that next level. We have 2 levels in that program. One is called Accelerate, one is Elevate, and the difference between them is really the level of one-on-one work that you get with us, because they're both personalized programs, but they are the Elevate level has a lot more one-on-one work. So if you would like some help, there is no obligation to buy anything from us, but you have to be serious about exploring your business and ready to get some help right now, meaning like you would consider, getting help and standing on the shoulders of giants, and you're ready to think like a successful person, and you want help with tactics that are going to actually expand your audience and grow your sales daily, then I would love to invite you to apply for a free strategy audit. As I mentioned, it's 100% free. All we're going to do on that call is talk a little bit about your business. We're going to understand like, where is it that you're going? So we're going to have you cast this 3-year vision for your business. We're going to take a look at your current situation, like what's happening in your business right now. And then we're going to go dig deep into the roadblocks, because everyone has things that block them. A lot of people have money blocks. A lot of people have information blocks. Like my big mental block is that when I'm stressed out about things, I move into like anxiety mode or like anxious avoidant mode. I like to say, like, I avoid the things that I don't want to deal with, and then I get anxious and like lean into the things that I'm worried about. So everyone's got a roadblock or several, probably a lot. And it's important to understand what those are, because if you don't have clarity on that, then you're going to keep roadblocking, right? Coming up against the same thing. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I would love for you to, if you're on Facebook, type the word momentum in the comments below in all caps. You can also head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/strategy, and that will lead you to a page where you can fill out an application. It should take only 15 minutes. And what's going to happen next is you're going to be invited, if you're approved, to jump on a call with our business accelerator specialist, Natasha. And Natasha's going to talk a little bit more about your business with you. And then on that call, you're going to walk away with understanding, having a lot more clarity with what needs to happen and the steps that you need to take to actually reach your goals. This is not a coaching call. It's a strategy session. We're talking about like your business, right? And those are 2 very different things. So type the word momentum in all caps in the comments below. If you are here on Instagram and on the live version, you can either click over to our profile, and there's a link there, or I'm going to have Quay drop in. You're going to see a link from Quayan Designs. She's going to drop the link. It's flourishthriveacademy.com/strategy. When this video is actually posted to Instagram, if you're coming in late, watch the whole thing because it's a good video. Then I'll have information or more about the link in the caption that you can check out. So that's it for now. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. This was much longer than I expected it to be. I hope you enjoyed these key takeaways, and I want to thank Quay for supporting me behind the scenes. So Quay dropped the link on Instagram. I'm going to end over here on Facebook. Head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/strategy, or type the word momentum in the comments below. In the broadcast.